Hello Professor, hello students. Next is the video presentation of Group 5. There are 4 parts in the total. The video will be divided into 4 sections for display. The first part, population and food security. The second part, poverty, gender inequality, and development. Next part is climate change and migration. The last part is introduction of challenges.
We are living in an era of rapid population growth. According to the United Nations, the global population is projected to approach 10 billion. By 2050, this growth threatens an unprecedented strain food production. The challenge is particularly acute in developing countries, where populations are growing faster, but agricultural resources are scarcer. The question is simple, yet profound. How can we ensure enough food for everyone? Take Nepal's eastern Terai region as an example, with a population exceeding 9.2 million. This region faces significant pressure on its limited arable land. As population increases, the amount of farmland available per person decreases, jeopardizing food security. Additionally, climate change intensifies this problem, with extreme weather events making traditionalist farming increasingly fragile to tackle these issues. Initiatives like the GEF8 program aim to transition farming into climate-resilient agricultural systems. However, this transformation still faces hurdles such as inadequate technology and funding shortages. Population growth isn't only factor affecting food security. Urban-rural disparities also play a crucial role in Pakistan's Sindh province, with a population of over 53 million. Nearly half live in urban areas. Cities like Karachi have urbanization rates above 70%, yet rural areas struggle with limited resources and low productivity. Climate-related disasters such as floods and droughts only make matters worse, leaving rural communities even more vulnerable to food shortages. This urban-rural divide poses a significant threat to overall food security in the region. Food security is a bit more than just agriculture. It's tied to economics, health, and social stability. When food supplies are insufficient, economies stagnate, public health suffers, and the risk of social unrest increases for developing nations. Addressing food insecurity is a cornerstone of poverty alleviation and improving the quality of life for their people.
Imagine a whole lake rushing down a mountain at once, carrying ice and rocks along with it. This is the reality of a lesser-known threat in the high mountains, one that grows more common as the climate changes. This is a glacial lake outburst flood. Global temperatures are rising, and glaciers are melting worldwide. The melting creates feebly dammed glacial lakes that can violently burst. The resulting floods can devastate downstream communities. Many people live in the shadows of a glacier, especially in the Himalayas, the Andes, and here in the Swiss Alps. According to a recent study, glacial floods have killed over 12,000 people worldwide in Central Asia, South America, the European Alps, and Iceland. These events are rapid and unpredictable. There is often little or no warning when a dammed glacial lake may burst. Researchers like Fabian Walter are racing against time and a warming climate to understand these events. Walter spent his PhD studies here at Switzerland's second largest glacial area, Gorner Gletscher.
We were studying a lake which no longer exists, and we were studying the phenomenon of glacial lake drainages. This is really the one natural hazard that's related to glaciers that's probably the most feared, because it's very hard to predict this, to even assess the danger. It's a big field in glaciology.
The natural dams that hold glacial lakes are unstable, so a small break can quickly become a gaping hole. The lakes are generally dammed by ice or a moraine, which is a pile of rocks and soil left behind by a moving glacier. In either case, flowing water carries dam material with it and continuously widens the break. This means that even a small disturbance, like heavy rainfall or a splash from a fallen chunk of ice, could trigger a massive flood. While a glacial flood typically destroys a moraine dam, ice dams often close back up and break again. These ice-dammed lakes may even drain and refill cyclically.
This is a very difficult phenomenon to predict, and that's why we spend several years here looking at a particular ice marginal lake, which was an ideal study site because it drained every summer, and we try to understand the physics behind these drainages better.
Scientists like Walter are learning how to read the signs of an imminent flood and give threatened communities time to prepare for the deluge. Other experts take different approaches to flood mitigation. Some have partially drained glacial lakes. Others have reinforced existing natural dams with stone and concrete. The pressure is on because our changing climate increases the risk of glacial floods.
These glaciated mountain faces were more or less stable, and now with climate change, the whole stability is changing.
These changes remind Walter of how humans have impacted nature, but also of how nature will impact us going forward.
Nature's, in the end, it's much more powerful than we as humans are. It's when you see how much these glaciers have melted in the recent years or decade, it's a reminder that we need to take better care of our planet.
快手，拥抱每一种生活。
In India, poverty is like an indispellable haze that hangs over the lives of many people. According to statistics, there is a considerable number of poor people among the huge population base who are trapped in the quagmire of extreme poverty and struggling. Take the slum we saw as an example. There is a lack of complete infrastructure. The housing is just simple buildings that can barely shelter from the wind and rain. There is an insufficient supply of clean drinking water, and food is often scarce and lacks nutrition. In order to maintain their basic survival, people here have to do all kinds of heavy, low-paid physical labor. It seems as if I am tightly bound by the shackles of poverty. First, let's watch a short video.
你干嘛呢？奶奶呢？啊？不知道。吃饭了没有？吃饭了没有？吃饭。钥匙呢？钥匙呢？ 灯嘛，灯。哎呦，今天吃什么饭？吃饭吃什么？做饭了吗？不做饭。不做饭？那你吃什么？不吃饭吗？是。奶奶呢？奶奶呢？奶奶去哪了？奶奶呢？不知道。奶奶也不知道去哪了。
First of all, this video is a Bilibili author who went to a remote mountainous area in China. According to the explanation below the original video material, the parents of this little girl took their younger brother to the city, leaving only their daughter and grandmother to live in the countryside. Let's observe this living environment. From the video, we can see that this is a remote mountainous area in China. The little girl is standing in a muddy environment, and the wooden door has long been crumbling. These things do not seem to belong to this era, but they are vividly displayed in a remote mountainous area in a developing country. After the creator and the little girl entered the house, the messy scene was indeed very miserable. Such an environment also shows that women are not welcome in some families, and they don't even have the opportunity to go to school. Due to the feudal nature of thought, people's minds are hindered, making it impossible for them to think independently. They don't know how to make decisions based on the facts. This is also the reason why their families are poor.
The Australian Academy of Science. Follow our Facebook page.
Alright, this is our conclusion. To achieve the global sustainable development goals, it is necessary to solve the problems of population, poverty, and hunger through monetary cooperation, technological innovation, and policy intervention ensure food security and actively respond to the impact of climate change on resource and ecology. This requires countries to coordinate development at the three levels of economy, society, and environment to achieve harmonious coexistence between man and nature. At the last, let me introduce our members of group. 马兆杰、刘夏阳、吕毅、朱浩文、王若淼。Thank you for your watching.